Sups up everyone. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? I mean, you guys all knew once I Win to Lose Gaming drops his DPS comparison videos, people were gonna be like, alright, let's really sit down and see just exactly how busted or underwhelming the character of Yelan is in comparison to some of the other available DPSs in the game. So yeah, after I finished work today, came home and just people were just like, Walrus, did you see this? Yelan is power creeping everybody. Her damage is way off the charts. This isn't normal. There has to be something wrong. Like, what's going on? Is this something that you think is going to get more and more severe going forward? Is this going to be the next character is going to now slap Yelan's butt cheeks in the... Okay, people, calm down, right? I understand where this is coming from, because if you guys look at Genshin Impact, there really isn't that much power creep. There isn't a scenario for the most part where a character can come out and just absolutely dominate in every single scenario, in every single sector. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was just as surprised as you guys are. I oftentimes don't really look too much into this stuff because for the most part, like I was saying, power creep doesn't really exist in Genshin Impact. Well, after taking a look, and I'm gonna give you guys my 2 cents, okay? Personally, I feel like Yelan is a character that has many things going for her to make her feel this impactful, and some of it are in the constellations, but some of it is just in the design of the character. For example, one of the things that characters usually can't get away with, especially on-field DPS characters, is the fact that they need some sort of shielding, healing, or damage mitigation just to make sure they survive hits, right? But when a character is like Yelan, where her damage scales off HP, and she doesn't really require sacrificing that HP in the case of like Hu Tao or Zhao to deal damage, then she ends up being incredibly tanky. She can afford to face tank hits. So in this scenario, Yelan not only does an absurd amount of damage on field, she's also absurdly tanky, making at times a healer not as necessary if you can pump out enough damage. Remember, what is the point of having a healer if you don't take enough damage for it to be lethal, right? If you can time your abyss and be like, oh, I can actually breeze through this stuff without a healer because I can just allocate that role to more damage, pile that damage onto my Yelan, whatever, and just blow through abyss. All right, so before we get any further, if you guys enjoy discussions, right, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, but I do want to let you guys know I Win to Lose Gaming is like a giga whale. He's like a Leviathan level player. All his showcases are like C6 R5. Yes, that still means C6 Yelan is power creeping other available C6 DPS options while being incredibly efficient in getting the job done. I'm going to touch on the entirety of the showcase and videos. If you guys want to check out the video or you haven't seen the video, I do suggest you check it out because this video is heavily based off of I Win to Lose this video. So just keep that in mind that he is a Leviathan giga whale. C0 Yelan will not come anywhere close to whatever he is showcasing. But with that said, this is still worth talking about because Hoyoverse has never done this, to be quite frank with you. Moving back to our topic of discussion, meaning Yelan is a character that just in her design, for the most part, she covers a lot of the weaknesses that no other characters in the game can really say they're this well-rounded, right? You can say, well, what about a character like main DPS Zhongli? He's tanky. Well, you see, main DPS Zhongli has a cap on his DPS potential, right? And main DPS Zhongli, arguably, I would say, is a physical DPS. Then you would need a team to be built around that to facilitate, like Super Conduct. He can shield himself, yes. If you have C6 Zhongli, he can heal himself, yes. So you don't even need a healer, so that team can allocate a lot more damage potential into it. In fact, probably you want to slap Yelan somewhere in that team as well. So I'm just saying, this character at C6 almost has no downsides to it. Just think about that for a second. It's taken Hoyoverse this long, but they have come out essentially with a character in what I would say is the perfect element with scaling that covers for the weaknesses of a lot of main DPS, which is tankability, right? If you're doing a lot of damage, you're probably not going to be that tanky. While wrong, not with Yelan, you're doing a lot of damage, you're insanely tanky. What about energy? She needs her burst skill to cycle through for her to be able to deal that damage and have that buff to be applied to herself and the rest of her team. Well, no problem. C1 takes care of that. What about sustained damage? It's again built into her kit with her burst skill and also with her C6. C6, it also resolves an issue with burst damage. So this character is a burst sustain on-field DPS who can also be an off-field DPS who can also be your team's tank who is also a hydro battery. That is something you don't see every day. And I think that right now, this should hint at HoYoverse's plan for the future. If they are releasing a character at C6 capable of doing this, what are they really implying? What was the meaning behind this? Do you guys honestly think HoYoverse was like, oh, let's just not fully test this character's highest DPS potential and just release her into the wild like this? No, of course, they know what Yelan is capable of. They know the ceiling of this character and they know what they're designing. Why though? That's my question. Yes, let's just get past the point of, oh, is there power creep? Yeah, this is quite an obvious power creep. If you guys didn't watch I Win to Lose Games video, he literally outperformed Zhao Main's full team Abyss run with Yelan by herself. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, you heard that right. Yelan by herself was able to clear Abyss faster than a Zhao Main's, like a well-known Zhao Main's entire 4-man roster, fully optimized. And once again, yes, I understand that currently the Abyss is in favor of Yelan, but you guys just have to realize how different a 1-man team versus a 4-man team is in this game, man. You guys can't be sitting here telling me like, no, Yelan is weak even at C6 because Abyss favors her. Watch, it's gonna be complete crap in the future. Well, I don't feel like doing mental gymnastics with these people today, so I'm just gonna ignore that. The hard truth is that this character is designed with close to no flaws. The only thing that right now she doesn't do is heal. She covers on-field DPS, she covers off-field DPS, she can be a tank, she has team buffing abilities, she is a hydro character, she has great mobility, she generates a ton of particles. There is close to nothing this character cannot do, and that is the one thing that makes me scratch my head, because if you guys know, in the game of Genshin Impact you only have 4 slots, and the more a character can do, the more valuable they'll be to you as the player, right? If you see Bennett, he can heal, he can buff the team, incredibly valuable character. Same with Kokomi, she can heal, she can apply hydro very consistently. Kazuha deals generally great damage, sustained off-field damage, while also applying Viridescence, which is invaluable to elemental teams. For the most part, very powerful characters oftentimes are able to do more than one thing to make sure that their position in the team is going to be justified. Now, do remember, we are talking about C6 Yelan right now, and I would have to argue that currently her C6 is quite overtuned when it comes to damage output. If they were just to tune it back a little bit, I think she would have been a very balanced character. But this just leads me to think, is there a chance that HoYoverse is going to ramp up the difficulty in Sumeru? Is there going to be a reason for whales, Giga Whales, to even need a character like this? Or is there going to be more requirement to a character to be justified in a team slot? Let's say right now, a lot of characters can do 2 things. What about in the future they can do 3 things? A character that's so flexible that, let's say, a character like Bennett, who can be a healer, who can be a team buffer, but for some reason, they can also have the abilities of Zhangling, being an off-field damage pyro applicator. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Why now? Why with this character? Why set up precedents? And I do think that the answer is because we are about to move into an era of Genshin where not only does a character need to be justified to be on a team, they also need to fight with other characters violently for their team position. And Yelan is going to be one of the first characters to come out to establish that requirement going forward. There's just too many characters, people. We're going to be getting into territories where there's going to be 3, 4, 5 characters that does very similar things, and you're going to have to pick and choose the right one for the right scenario. Again, you can just random BS go, slap them all into a team and just don't care about it, and you probably will still beat the game. But for those people who are a little more sophisticated, who cares about this stuff, then again, right, it's C6, right? You're not only sophisticated, you're going to have to be pretty loaded as well. So I'm just saying, people, get used to this stuff. I think that it's not like every single new character is going to be like this, but every now and then I think we're going to come across 5 stars or at least upgraded versions of really good 4 stars, like a 5-star Bennett, 5-star Zhangling. They're going to be quite useful. And before you guys say this is terrible for the game, I do think this is well overdue when it comes to a gacha game for a very strong, very solid character to come out that kind of dominates and shifts everything around or demands others of this stature to be released going forward. Hey, Zhao can still clear the abyss, Amber can still clear the abyss, Barbara can still clear the abyss. So I don't see why people would have a problem with this, as long as all the free-to-plays can still clear the abyss. Hoovers can jack these numbers up to the skies and heavens and back. I wouldn't really care. But I think it's pretty neat. Alright, I never expected her to be this powerful, but after seeing it, maybe this would change some people's mind about getting Yelan on her rerun. But what do you guys think? Alright, with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, urge y'all to stay safe. Peace, bye.